Hey everyone! So it has been a long time since I've posted a video, as I'm sure you guys have all noticed. If any of you are subscribed to me or remember me, you will know that. So I do actually have plenty of videos that I've recorded, and I just have a hard time finding the time to sit down and just edit videos. Life kind of gets in the way. I've got a job now at a pet store, so that's been kind of cool. And then I'm also an artist, so usually on my free time I have projects that I'm working on. Other than that, it's mostly just laziness, not feeling like editing videos. But I'm finally back with some updates for you guys. They're not all good, but there are some exciting things happening too, and I will definitely let you guys in on those things. So the first update that I have for you guys, if you've been subscribed to me and seen my previous videos, then you should know my bunnies Mimsy and Obi. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about Obi first. Now his full name is Obi-Bun Kenobi. His name before that was just Bunny, and I kind of wanted something a little more clever. So Obi was originally adopted at an animal shelter locally here from a girl who I didn't know at the time, but I eventually ended up meeting her. She adopted him, named him Bunny. She had him for several years. She had gone off to college. She didn't really have any time for him. Since she could no longer care for him from being in college and he was being fed a little too much, she ended up trying to rehome him with a friend of mine. But he was also going to college at the time that he took Obi in and didn't have time for him, so he was frequently asking me to bunny sit for him, which was fine. I enjoyed it, and I had Mimsy at the time, so I knew how to take care of bunnies. And I kind of just put a divider in the middle of my room and caged them separately. So each time somebody had time to play outside in the room, the other bunny was always caged. That way they were always at least 3 feet away from each other and nobody could fight through bars or anything like that. So I never had them out in playtime at the same time. Eventually this friend had asked me to keep Obi permanently, and I told him I probably couldn't, but I might be able to find him a home. His original owner was also hoping that I would keep Obi because she loved the way that I was caring for him. And I just wasn't sure that I wanted to keep him just because Mimsy was kind of an aggressive bunny. Not that I was against having 2 rabbits, but I wasn't sure that she was gonna ever be able to be bonded to another one. So I decided I'll take him in, I'll foster him, I'll find him a home, and it'll be good. I eventually got a little bit curious to see how they would do together if Mimsy could ever have a companion. And when I was doing this, I was originally actually thinking that Obi was still going to go to another home and I would just eventually get Mimsy a different companion. But I put them in the tub together in the bathroom because it's neutral territory. Mimsy completely ignored him. She was mostly just concerned with getting out of the tub. Eventually there was a little bit of scuffling here and there, mostly on Mimsy's part. Obi was pretty submissive. He's always been really submissive. For the most part, I was seeing some pretty hopeful behaviors though. And Obi ended up being actually a very sweet bunny, and I didn't want to give him up. And since they had a pretty good interaction together, I kind of was thinking, well, maybe I will keep him. I'll see if I can bond them. Obviously, they bonded, and they were pretty good together. Mimsy was still kind of a little bossy here and there, but Obi was such a good bunny, and he was so submissive to her. He was a really good husband, and he just tolerated her and dealt with it, and he always kind of made sure he would just wait until she was done throwing her fits. So the update for Obi that I have for you, last January of 2017, I was up on my bed and I had heard that Obi was sneezing kind of weird. It was normal for him to sneeze, but the sneeze sounded a little different than what he's usually doing. And so I looked over and I saw that he was just hunched down in his litter box and he didn't want to move. I went to go pick him up and see if he was doing okay. He was very light. I could tell he's lost some weight. He hadn't had all his weight to him. So that was really concerning. I took him over to my mom and I was trying to see what she thought because he was very lethargic. He didn't want to hold up his head at all, and he just wasn't himself. And it was the middle of the night and we were trying to contemplate, do we take him to the vet or do we just bring him first thing in the morning? I wasn't really comfortable sitting here and just waiting until morning. I kind of had to go now. So we took him to an emergency vet. They told me that he was dehydrated and that he has a possible respiratory infection. They had injected some fluids into his shoulder blade area, And if you've never seen that happen when they're dehydrated, they kind of like inject water up in here, and it ends up being like these bubbles, like it's like under their skin, but it's like a bubble of just water under there. And they did it on both sides. The reason that they do that when they're dehydrated is because when you inject it that way, your body is able to absorb it faster. So we were sent home with antibiotics for him for his respiratory infection. I set up a little bed in the bathroom for him so that he could be separated from Mimsy. Hopefully that Mimsy wouldn't also get the respiratory infection. And unfortunately, by 8 in the morning, I was notified or woken up that he passed away. And so we took him to go get cremated. He was about 8 years old when he passed away, so he was kind of a little bit older, so it was fairly understandable. Mimsy did pretty well after his passing. I don't know that she really knows that he passed away. I didn't actually know that it's suggested to bring the body of the other one to the one that's still alive and make sure that they kind of have like their goodbyes. Just so that the surviving bunny is able to understand what happened and why their partner is no longer there. But I didn't know that before he passed away, so I didn't even do that. But she was fine. She's a pretty independent bunny. She don't need no bun. So that was Obi. He passed away on January 19th of 2017. Mimsy was my first bunny. I didn't really know anything about bunnies before her, and I just actually kind of thought that they were boring pets to have. Clearly I didn't know anything. Mimsy had such a huge personality. In 2012, Mimsy was bought as an Easter gift for a 10-year-old girl that I knew personally, and unfortunately, I kind of knew that this was not going to be a good idea. They kept her in a 10-gallon fish tank, and it was kind of infested with cockroaches and maggots. And I would kind of go over to try and help her clean it and get her to realize that she needs to be cleaning it a little better. She wasn't really looking after it. And this is the difficulty with getting kids animals, especially if it's going to be something that's caged. They're typically not going to clean the cage. So try, if you want to get your kid an animal, try to stick with like dogs or cats maybe, as long as you're okay with you going to go and like pick up the poop and whatever. Your kid's probably not going to do it. So since she wasn't keeping up after the cage, her dad ended up giving her $50 in order to give her to me. I took her in. I was supposed to foster her. I had gotten her like a little playpen that was pretty cheap, but it was a pretty good size. Of course, I started doing some research on bunnies and found out that a lot of the food that she was eating was not safe for her. The bedding that she was on was pine shavings, and it's not good for her either. So I started taking all of that away. I had to unfortunately keep her on her old food while I was slowly switching her to a new food. She got put on Oxbow. Anyway, so the longer that I had her, the bigger her cage started getting. So as I said, Mimsy was pretty fine after Obi passed away, which is kind of like a bittersweet sort of thing, because I'm glad she was okay and not like depressed or anything like that. But at the same time, it sort of feels like she just didn't miss him at all. But I don't know how it goes in bunny world. I don't know what she was thinking. One really quick update. I was kind of having a hard time coping with moving. The coping with like moving and everything kind of actually came after my dog passed away. So my dog Bruce, if you've seen him in one of my intros, he's the brown and white one, and he was like my baby, and he passed away on December 1st of 2017, and that's like a total, I'll maybe do another video about that, I don't know. So I was having a hard time with his passing and then coping with moving and just trying to figure out if I can do it. And so I was going to go and stay up there for 3 weeks just to see if I can get a feel for how it is to live up there. I flew in, I think, the day before New Year's Eve, and then the morning of New Year's, I had gotten a call from my dad to say that Mimsy had passed away. I don't know why she passed away. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if she was scared from fireworks and she maybe had a heart attack from any of that. My mom had said that the fireworks didn't sound like they were that loud, so it could have been anything, but my mom was the one to find her, and there was no really like signs of any kind of struggle. We also got her cremated, and the place that we usually take our pets to go get cremated, they're awesome. They send you like a flower with some potpourri and a poem. I'm trying really hard not to get emotional because I really don't want to like cry on here or anything. I did with like Kramer's video, and I was posting that one, and I just couldn't help it. But so I was pretty like petless for a while. My room was like empty of pets for quite some time. I didn't have Obi, I didn't have Mimsy, I didn't have Kramer, and I had also lost my dog. So I don't mean for this to be like a depressing video by any means, I'm sorry. I sort of hated like coming in here because it was just so quiet, and I just felt like ever since Kramer had passed away, my room had slowly been getting like quieter and quieter. I was trying not to get a pet because I'm supposed to be moving, and it's going to be easier to move without pets, but I thought it would be fairly okay to just get a foster. So I have a foster rabbit, and I'm going to show you him. So say hello. This is Dax. Now his foster name is Monty. The rescue had given him that name, and he was found at a construction site. Somebody dumped him there, and he had like asphalt oil all over him. He was like all like yellow patches and stuff. It was really bad. He also, I don't know if you guys can see, he's got kind of sore hocks. I don't know how well that's noticeable, but, and he is a Californian rabbit, so he's got the red eyes and everything, and I'm going to do a video more about him, but just to leave on a better note, I've got a foster rabbit. I call him Dax. I went through so many names before I could finally settle on Dax. And I'm going to have some more exciting news soon, but I don't know when it's going to be uploaded, so just keep an eye out. Thank you guys for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.